In this video, I'm going to talk about slope. What is it? How do we find it? So first of all, the slope. What it is, it's the ratio between the vertical change, sometimes called rise, over the horizontal change, also called run. So to calculate this, we simply calculate, first of all, our rise, change in the vertical, and we divide it by our run. We make it into a fraction. So we compare our vertical change to our horizontal change. And this we can do for any line that we have on a graph. We simply count what is my run, what is my rise, put them into a fraction, and we found the slope. Now, sometimes when we look at slope, we're only given 2 points. So here's an example. I'm given point A, and point A is x1, y1, and point B is x2, y2. And to find their slope, again, we're going to find rise over run, but another way to say rise over run is change in y over change in x. So how does my vertical change? How does my horizontal change? And to do that, we have a nifty formula, and this is a formula that if you're taking a math class, you need to memorize this. It's y2 minus y1, so difference in y's over difference in x, x2 minus x1. And take a note that y2, x2 come first, y1, x1 come second. Now ultimately it doesn't matter, you can have y1 minus y2, x1 minus x2, just make sure they line up. If y2 comes first in the top, then x2 comes first in the bottom. Same thing with y1 and x1. So what we're going to do is we're going to use this to find the slope given 2 points. So here's our formula. M equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. We're going to use that to find the slope between these 2 points. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out by labeling. So this is x1, y1, and this is x2, y2. Now ultimately it doesn't matter which one you say is x1, which one you say is y1. Doesn't really matter. So long as this is x2, this is y2, this is x1, this is y1. So long as the 1's match and the 2's match. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to plug it into our formula. So my formula says, I'll write that out, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So let's plug it in. So y2 is 4, y1 is 0, all over x2 is 3 minus x1 of 1. Well, from here what I'm going to do is simplify it. So 4 minus 0 is 4, and 3 minus 1 is 2. Then, well, I know that 4 over 2 simplifies to 2. So the slope between the point 1, 0 and 3, 4 is 2. Let's try again. So for this one, I'm going to label this, let's make it a little different. I'm going to say this is x2, y2, this is x1, y1. This is what I was talking about earlier. So long as this is 1, that's 1, those subscripts match, and these subscripts match, doesn't really matter which order you do it in. So again, I'm going to do y2, 3, minus y1, 1, over x2, 0, minus x1, 6. Well, when I simplify this, this gives me 2 over negative 6. And well, to finish this off, I know that 2 is divisible by 2, negative 6 is divisible by 2, so this gives me negative 1/3. So my slope of the line that goes through these 2 points is negative 1/3. So there are special cases when we're finding the slope. Generally, it's just label, plug and chug, you're good to go. But these will give us some interesting results. So first of all, I'm going to write down my formula just so I remember it. y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Then I'm going to label my points. This gives me x1, y1, x2, y2. So let's plug it in. So this is going to give me y2, 3 minus y1 3 over x2 5 minus x1 negative 3 minus a negative 3. When I do 5 minus negative 3, that gives me a positive 8 over 3 minus 3 is 0. And so my slope in this case is 0. Now when I go to graph this line, looking at a slope of 0, this says that my vertical change is 0, meaning that my line doesn't move up or down at all. So here's my axis. So that type of line that doesn't move up or down is simply a horizontal line. Now, I know it's a little bit crooked, but you know what I mean. That's a horizontal line, meaning it doesn't go up or down, it only goes side to side. So that's one of the special cases. Now let's look at the other one. So same thing, I'm going to label x1, y1, x2, y2. So I'm going to get negative 1 minus 3 over 2 minus 2. And well, that gives me negative 4 over 0. Well, here's the big question. What's negative 4 divided by 0? Well, it's actually not possible. You can't divide anything by 0. Type that in a calculator, it gets really mad at you. There's some pretty funny memes on the internet about dividing by 0. Basically, you break math. This isn't possible. So what we say is our slope is undefined. We haven't defined negative 4 over 0, so we call it undefined. And well, that type of line, let me draw my axis again. So here's my coordinate plane. So this is saying that it's a line that doesn't move side to side. Well, a line that doesn't move side to side is just a vertical one. So that's how you find slope of the line. Slope is a comparison of rise over run. We use the formula y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 in order to calculate it when we're given 2 points. And it's possible to have a slope of 0 when 0 is in the numerator. But if 0 is in the denominator, we say it's an undefined slope, giving us a vertical line.